Is this redundant? Sitting in my car, chit-chatting. Shit-chatting. Just came up with that. So good. So good. I'll probably forget it. Some of my jokes are just really fucking stupid. I feel like I could actually be something really prominent if I was, like, motivated in that specific way. But I think one of the appeals to me is that I'm not. Oh, shit. It's like, I know I rail on a lot of people. I'm that way too, man. I'm just that way to a much lesser extent with the narcissism stuff. Like, my beliefs are typically correct. Because all these things that I've thought since I was young have just rung to be more and more true, you know? But it's like, I'm not really rejoicing in that. I rejoice in my solution in that. And there's just so much pain and sadness. And people that are like, well, you can let that define you, or you can focus on the good things. Look, man. I'm just gonna be totally real with you, okay? And I'm gonna be totally real with you because there are a lot of people I know who have said to me, you know, Amy, I used to think that you were like really extreme in your emotional responses to things, and you know, the way that you just like face all of your like sadness and everything. I used to think there was something wrong with that, but now I'm seeing that maybe there's a purpose in that. And yeah, I mean, I'm glad that they came to that conclusion, and not just because it makes me the star of, I don't know, self-awareness or painful realizations or something, you know? It's like, I just feel like an extreme version of the human condition. And they say that loneliness is the human condition, right? Like, but I just accept things that are bad that I don't think are gonna change, you know? But I make jokes and I have these like little rants, these little rant sessions, because it's like, it's all I got, you know? Besides pot. But, yeah, I mean, people don't have to understand that. But, you know, I don't agree with, like, street preaching. I don't agree with, you know, vendors. You know, like, people trying to sell you stuff. I hate those people. And I feel like that's everybody on the internet. So I'm trying to do the opposite of that. Just sort of, like, give you this other option. You know, like, I'm an alternative if you care to embrace that. If you don't, then get the fuck out of here. You know? It's like, there's so many other people that say all that positive, ooey gooey, cheesy ass shit that we don't want anything to do with that. That's not to say that we're not in favor of love and compassion and all that, but there's a way to go about that. Like, I mentioned this in the description of one of my recent videos where I was talking about Kirk Cameron, and I said one of my biggest problems with Christians is that they're so cheesy. You know, I mean, Christian music's probably the best example of this, but like just Christian movies and like If you just watch the trailer for a Christian movie, you don't want Christians to keep existing, because like that's the trash that they think is going to be entertaining, you know? And that's the alternative to like what you see with like this boring ass, overly sexual, like it's boring to me. It's boring to me because it's not pushing any edges, because it's just like urging people to just fuck and not care about the person, and you know, to just do a bunch of things that aren't do things that aren't really satisfactory, you know? It's like having sex, that's like the closest that you could possibly be to another person, aside from, you know, a mother giving birth. I would say that that's probably a lot better. But, you know, she's able to do that because she had sex, right? So hopefully, if she has that amazing connection to her child, like, it's because she had an amazing connection with the person that she allowed inside of her. And that's the way that I look at sex. And that's why I can't just view it nonchalantly and think like, oh, we can just be animals and it doesn't matter, you know? We're supposed to be above that. We're supposed to be better than that, dude. We're supposed to be conscious of these things. So I don't agree with that. I have a very conservative view of sex. But my body count's still pretty high, though, because I used to be a drunk. I was talking to Ronnit. She was like, that's not high. She said that she's fucked a man for every single country that she's been to. I can believe it. Jews know how to work their way around, right? Yeah, I'm drinking her kombucha right now. She gave it to me. She's so sweet. Anyway. But yeah, I don't like cheesy stuff. Like, the stuff that I like is pretty dark. I mean, my comedy's pretty dark. I think that, like, the cleanest comedy that I'm willing to listen to is, like, Jerry Seinfeld. And, you know, he's a good comic, but he's just fucking lame. Like, he doesn't take any risks. You know, and I guess it's, like, a risk being up there in general. I realize that. But, and I'm not saying that just about clean comedy. Because I think that you can take risks as a clean comic, but I don't know. It's just way more fun to see what you can get away with, you know? But, I haven't liked my stand-up. Like, sometimes I think it's really good, but most of the time I hate it. But every once in a while I'll get to that. Like, whatever I am right now, I'll be able to access some of that. But, yeah, I hope to be the alternative. Like, the alternate Christian. So you know how there's, like, alt comedy? Like, this is alt Christianity, alright? Because we're not, like, above doing things that people in the East do, which is where this whole religion started, okay? But it's most definitely not going to be, like, palatable to people that are very mainstream or very, I think ooey gooey is a really good way to describe people that are just, yeah, all in the positive feelings, right? We gotta be positive. We can't be the slightest bit negative, because if we're negative, you know, what if we kill ourselves? Like, I don't know. I've gone deep into that well, man. And I discovered there's really nothing to be afraid of. Like, I was reading this about bats, because I mistakenly said that bats are blind. They're not. They're blind in the eyes of humans, because humans are fucking blind, if you ask me, okay? But they can see in pitch black. So it's not that they can't see, but they just can't see the things that humans think is important, like colors and things like that. But they can see well enough to navigate. In fact, they have better vision than humans because of that. So it's like their lack of vision overcompensates in a way, and they're able to see more. It's kind of cool, but it explains a lot, doesn't it?